All right, guys, so this video that you're about to see here from More Perfect Union is, in my opinion, devastating. So Ron DeSantis, on the right, he sort of has a halo around his head right now. People love the guy. Behind Trump, he's the clear favorite for the next presidential primary. And also, I mean, I do sort of fear his appeal to normies and to independent types or apolitical types. You know, there are some comedians who are in Rogan's orbit who love Ron DeSantis and they talk openly about it. And this video here shows you he's not any different than the other politicians. He is deeply, deeply corrupt. And he takes legal bribes. He super serves corporate power. But it's actually more nefarious than that because not only does he do that, he postures like he's a populist, like he's anti-elitist, like he's taking on the corporations. And so you're going to get a sense of what he really is here. And this video is crazy. So let's watch.
If Florida Governor Ron DeSantis wants you to believe anything about him, it's this.
And I will fight for the taxpayers and families of our great state.
But that's not what's happening. What's happening is Ron DeSantis is running a multi-billion-dollar corporate welfare extravaganza. So rhetoric like this?
We'll stand up to corporations. They are not going to dictate the policies in this state.
It's just part of the myth DeSantis has cultivated that he'll fight for working-class people. The fact is that since DeSantis took office, corporations in Florida have reaped $5.7 billion from tax cuts, loopholes, and giveaways from the governor and the Republican-controlled state legislature. His squabble with Disney is just the latest example of this rhetoric and hypocrisy on corporate accountability.
Disney should not be exempt from the laws that every single person in Florida.
What DeSantis isn't saying in his attacks on Disney is why he left their $578 million in tax credits untouched if he wants to take them on. And that's just Disney. The largest corporations in Florida are getting millions from DeSantis' government regularly. In 2020, at the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic, DeSantis permitted a massive $543 million in tax refunds for major corporations, agreed to in 2018, to go into effect, even as his own state's unemployment system crumbled.
Many have been out of work for weeks. Some have yet to see a dime.
In 2019, the Republican-led legislature okayed another massive tax refund for corporations, not for people. That payout in May 2022 will be $624 million for the biggest corporations in Florida, and they won't even answer questions about it.
Are you guys afraid of tough questions? I just wanted to ask the governor about the $624 million tax refund for wealthy corporations, including the $10 million that Disney's going to get from our tax dollars. You guys should ask about that. Corporations are going to get a $624 million corporate tax refund from this legislature, and Disney is going to get $10 million. Christina, you want to comment?
It's not as if these corporations need it. A 2019 analysis found that 99% of companies pay no corporate income tax in Florida. And when the state's unemployment trust fund dried up, DeSantis shifted the responsibility of refilling it from businesses through their taxes to average Floridians through a $1 billion a year new tax on online sales. He did this all while dumping on Floridians' calls for more expansive unemployment benefits.
There's legislation to increase unemployment benefits. Do you support that?
Increase benefits? Look, no.
So when he says,
So let there be no misunderstanding. As governor, I will lead with purpose and conviction on behalf of the people of Florida.
it's not true. He's leading on behalf of corporations. Like when he came out against raising the minimum wage.
To do the minimum wage amendment, there's problems with that, regardless of even how you feel about it.
More than 60% of Florida voters would go on to approve a minimum wage hike. And when he says this,
Even when the state of Florida voted for Donald Trump, 60% of the electorate supported raising the minimum wage. And he's against it.
Our environment is threatened. I will move to protect it.
it's also not true. He will move to protect corporate interests. Take the sugarcane industry, responsible for pollution that causes cancer and red tide. He talked a big game about holding them accountable.
And I'm the only candidate who fought Big Sugar and lived to tell about it.
In 2021, DeSantis signed legislation shielding those same sugar companies from legal action surrounding the long-term healthcare problems caused by their burning fields. U.S. Sugar donated $350,000
Oh, come on.
to Florida's Republican Party during DeSantis' election.
I mean, like, that's the thing, man. He's just a fraud. Like, he is just a fraud. When he goes up there and he gives a speech, he's lying. He knows he's lying. He knows how much he's super serving these corporations. He's totally against the social safety net for regular people, gutting unemployment benefits, not in favor of raising the minimum wage. But he's totally fine with corporate socialism. Yeah, give all the money to the corporations that they want. Shift the tax burden onto regular working Floridians. So when he goes up there and he does all this talk like he's against corporations, he knows he's a fraud. He knows he's a charlatan. He knows he's lying as he does it because he knows his own record. God, everybody's so shameless. At least you could say this about the other Republicans, the ones who kind of come more self-described as like the establishment variety, at least they're honest about where they stand. Like, yeah, I'm in favor of corporate tax cuts. Yeah, I love corporations. You know, with DeSantis and with Trump, they pretend like I'm different. You know, I'm a different kind of Republican. I'm a pro-worker Republican. And then they do shit like this. So it's so dishonest. It's so disingenuous. And it's good marketing, but people don't know the record. Now you're learning the record and learning who he actually serves.
No surprise why other corporations are getting these million-dollar tax refunds or getting support on their anti-living wage campaigns. Corporations donate more money than working-class Floridians. Much more. Over his career, DeSantis has received nearly $20 million from Wall Street, $5 million.
Populist Republican Ron DeSantis taking on corporations by giving Wall Street smooth hand jobs under the table.
From real estate investors and $3 million from lobbyists and lawyers. So every policy DeSantis pushes is a gift to his biggest, richest donors. The big corporate tax cuts? Rewards to virtually every billionaire in the country, many of whom, including Richard Uihlein, Bernie Marcus, and the late Sheldon Adelson, are among DeSantis' largest donors. Private equity firms and hedge funds are rushing to line DeSantis' pockets. One prominent hedge fund leader, Ken Griffin, recently gave him $5 million. Florida Power and Light got its $1.53 billion rate hike after pouring millions into Republican campaigns and super PACs. And even as Florida falls in income inequality, tax fairness, education spending, you name it, Ron DeSantis will keep leading his culture wars, claiming to stand up to big business.
You can't be cowed by these organizations, or particularly by woke corporations, from doing the right thing.
Well, the right thing for DeSantis seems to be turning his back on Floridians and protecting the bottom line of massive corporations.
Devastating from More Perfect Union. Look, all it took was, let's go through his record with a fine-tooth comb and see what he's actually doing policy-wise. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.